Out of all the highly anticipated races and extremely difficult competitions around the world, this one we are about to cover just might be the greatest of them all. After 4 long years of waiting and multiple COVID-19 running shutdowns, the day has finally arrived. It is time for the 2023 World Cross Country Championships. Deemed by many as the single and most difficult foot race known to man, taking the victory in this competition requires absolutely everything that an athlete can muster. You'll need speed, of course, and you'll obviously need strength, but you'll also need to navigate a field that outsizes almost any race in the professional running circuit. Since the inception of this World Cross Country Championships, this global event has only become more and more dominated by the African runners. For the past several decades, the winner of this race on both the men's and women's sides has come from African descent, showcasing a type of supremacy that no other continent has ever approached. This global championship is guaranteed to be a special showdown, as the fields gathered today include multiple defending champions, Olympic gold medalists, world record holders, and marathon major champions. On the men's side, we'll witness the return of the 2019 champion Joshua Cheptegei from Uganda, who has since become a multiple world record holder in the 5,000 and the 10,000 meters. And while his quest to successfully defend this World XC Championship is possible, he will be met with immense competition, including Jacob Kiplimo, Jeffrey Kamworor, Solomon Barega, and Barihu Aregawi. On the women's side, the tides all turn to one of the greatest distance runners we have ever seen, as Letesenbet Gidey from Ethiopia looks to continue her streak as the greatest female distance athlete in the world. So now, without any further ado, it's time to go down under to the World Cross Country Championships in Bathurst, Australia. Welcome everyone to a very special installment of the World Cross Country Finals. We have been waiting many years for this competition, and the drama that unfolded in this World Cross Country Final was just crazy. But before we even get into the individual athletes competing today, we need to talk about the conditions and overall course that we had for this race. On this day, the first few races had to contend with temperatures that hovered around 90 degrees Fahrenheit or 32 degrees Celsius. However, as the races unfolded, a huge storm loomed very closely. The course at some points was so hot, in fact, the temperatures even reached around 35 degrees Celsius, and with such heat on the day, there were even water stations that athletes ran through where water was constantly spraying in an effort to keep the runners from overheating. Despite it still being winter in the United States, Australia is unquestionably very hot right now, so the conditions in Mount Panorama did present real challenges in terms of getting too hot. But also, in addition to the heat, the runners have some serious hills to contend with. For practically the entire course, athletes will be going either uphill or downhill in some capacity, so finding a running rhythm will certainly be very difficult. Now, to start things off, the women's race brought forth something truly shocking. For the opening stages, things were mostly going as expected. The favorites were up front, and nobody had really made a move up to this point. However, after about 30 minutes of running, the pre-race favorite Letesenbet Gidey from Ethiopia made her move, and when she did, there was just no response. With a burst of speed that only Gidey could implement, the race was all but over. Or so we thought. Coming down the final downhill with 200 meters remaining, Gidey appeared weak and vulnerable, and with a huge surge to pass the pre-race favorite, Beatrice Chebet from Kenya pulled out a massive upset in this world final, winning this 10K race in 33 minutes and 48 seconds. Finishing in second was Tsegay Gebrselassie, and finishing in third was Agnes Ngedic. And unfortunately, even though she was technically crossing the line in 4th place, Letesenbet Gidey was actually disqualified from this competition because upon hitting the ground after her fall, her coaches physically assisted her in an attempt to cross the finish line, which, despite this not playing too much of a role in her finishing time, this is simply not allowed in World Athletics competitions. This is quite unfortunate, because it's likely that she would have gotten up sooner or later and likely scored much higher for her team, but given the rules from the governing body, Gidey was officially thrown out of the finishing results. I really thought that Gidey was close to unbeatable, and she probably mistimed her kick and her effort to some degree. And despite this incredible drama that unfolded, we saw something just as interesting on the men's side. Now, one of the interesting things that went down even before this men's race started was a rapid-fire decision to start the race 20 minutes before the original scheduled time, because quickly approaching the course was a huge thunderstorm. On all accounts, there was a huge front moving in, with probable lightning in the works and a huge burst of wind, so getting this race going now was paramount. Like on the women's side, the opening 15 to 20 minutes was more or less the expected opening for the men's race. We had many pre-race favorites up front, the pace was pretty solid, and nobody had really made a break up front. However, it was really just after 20 minutes of running where the best in the world began to shine. At this point, the pre-race favorites took a firm grasp of the pace up front, with Jacob Kiplimo, Joshua Cheptegei, Jeffrey Kamworor, and Burihu Awarigawe now standing strong. At this point in the race, the entire sky was starting to turn gray, and lightning was actually starting to be seen on the horizon. But with the prospects of gold medals now also on the horizon, this front group pushed forward to the finish. With just 2 kilometers remaining and 1 lap to run, the race was now down to 4, and it was really anyone's guess as to who would win this race. Would it be the defending champion Joshua Cheptegei? Would it be the second-place finisher in 2019 Jacob Kiplimo? Or would it be the 5K road world record holder Burihu Awarigawe? But then, soon after the start of the final lap, it happened. The one definitive surge that settled any uncertainty. Just after 25 minutes and 30 seconds, Jacob Kiplimo made a huge move on a slight downhill slope that ultimately broke this competition wide open. In a matter of moments, his superior acceleration found him almost 10 meters up front, and just like that, the race was completely over. Coming down the final hill, it was quite apparent that Kiplimo was in no danger of losing, and with a finishing time of 29 minutes and 17 seconds, he displayed one of the most brutal finishing moves in world cross-country history. Finishing in second was Burihu Awarigawe in 29:26, and finishing in third was Joshua Cheptegei in 29 minutes and 37 seconds, which was also just barely in front of Jeffrey Kamworor from Kenya, who also